My name is Colin SkipperWing Bird, and welcome to another episode of The Crimson Fly, a special subset of the SkipperWing Draws a Thing series where I focus primarily on creating content for my Crimson Fly animated webcomic. Also, there are links to the silent version of this video in the cards and description below, in case you would like to hear this video without the commentary. Now that that's done, let's get started. Today's strip, issue 4, strip number 55. This is actually the last strip in issue 4, so we're done. It also means that since it's the last strip in issue 4, this is also the last strip in volume 1, which is awesome. I know, right? That being said, this strip was, well, after the I have a problem with endings when it comes to creating endings for my content. It's always easy to plan for them, but then it's really hard to get started. And then you get to the midpoint and you find your groove, and then when you start getting to the end, it starts becoming harder and harder to just finish it. And so that's always a sort of hurdle that I always run into. But I think having it, this ending sort of plotted out since I started volume 1. Since I started issue 1 actually, yes. It wasn't quite as hard as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, the perspective is very wonky when it comes to the Crimson Fly bounding up the wall. But as far as just the general beats, it's like, yes, just like in issues 1, 2, 3, and, well, 1, 2, and 3, he starts on the rooftops, goes down to investigate the problem, and once the problem is done, returns to the rooftops and starts the process all over again. That being said, when it came to doing this sequence, I have to admit, as well as I can do animation, laying out a progressive series of poses in a sort of action sequence, I feel like I'm not quite there, or not quite where I want to be as far as that goes. So that's why there's the little red trail that goes through the Crimson Fly as he is going up the wall. And as you can see, the perspective on the wall is not that great. I mean, sure, where the ambulance is and where the Crimson Fly starts out and the sidewalk, that's all great. It's just the wall itself was not that great. And I think part of that was because I procrastinated in getting this particular strip done. So I didn't look up the proper reference for drawing a wall, and as such it looks flat and tiny. I do end up mitigating that by using a moving camera to avoid having to show the full wall, but you can see in the process video that was not the greatest of ideas. Something else that's been interesting to me is that, well, aside from the occasional flash crashes, is that I've started simplifying the Crimson Fly's design. Not in terms of just like adding or removing elements, but in terms of simplifying how I draw him. Instead of drawing every particular wrinkle and fold, I just focus mostly on the main shadows, main highlights, and then go from there. And I think what this is building up to is a puppet that I want to make, that I can use to animate the Crimson Fly a little bit easier and a little bit faster, rather than having to redraw every frame whenever I have a completely crazy, action-heavy, dynamic sequence. I'm not sure that I will ever find a puppet, but it's nice to dream, and I might try it out over the hiatus. Speaking of which, if you're reading this from the future, this is going to have no impact on you. But for those of you reading it in the present, after issue 4 is done, the Crimson Fly is going to go on a bit of a hiatus so that I can, well, clean up shop. And I guess to have a shop to clean up, I have to establish a shop. So that's one of the things I will be doing over the hiatus. Again, if you're watching this from the future, you're not going to care because you're going to go to the links to the shop, but just for future reference. So yeah, the wall was looking a little bit too flat for me, so I added a shadow, and I had to do it frame by frame rather than one of my usual cheats. But that's okay, I think it turned out pretty well. And I think that's really enough to say about the Crimson Fly as a whole. I was actually surprised that this venture turned out as well as it did, and I'm really proud of how everything has gone since then. But enough about that. I will see you guys next week for the completed issue 4. See you then!
And that's it for today's video. If you want to see this strip in its true format, please click the links in the annotations and cards. If you're new, please like and subscribe for more content. This is Colin SkipperWing Bird signing out. I'll catch you peeps later.